Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Bobby.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. You?
It's not morning where you are. What is it where you are?
Okay. I scheduled a meeting with David
Yes.
later, and I shared a presentation. Yes, like a structure of presentation because I'd like to prepare a presentation for the 8th of January about the project. And the idea is to present the project, also talking about the, I don't know, code of conduct, privacy policy, and to introduce and also introduce the project. And after that, try to talk about the next step, which could be to to have the specification, the general specification of the project. And I mean, for example, the general purpose, general goal, but also some technical details about libraries, technologies, architecture, and so on. And yes, I don't know if you have some suggestion for me.
No, I think that's fabulous. But what I do want to do to support you is, and something that I think Arunima and I need to chat about or figure out is like the end result of the documentation task force, which we're now morphing into the FAQ AI thing, which I think is needed. Um, is to sum it up, I'd like to give the TSC some AI created checklists basically for maintainers and kind of shadowing you. So you've just done the first step of a maintainer. You've taken an idea and you've made it a lab. So
Mhm.
what, again, like as you're doing your steps, I kind of see Arunima and I following behind you, making these checklists for maintainers, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah, I got
okay.
So
it.
yeah, so right now what you've done is absolutely the first part of any project. So if you could make a bullet point list and just drop it in the chat of what would be on a checklist for you, like you had to fork the repository, you had to reach
Mhm.
out to David, you had to create a presentation to give to people. So those would be, did I miss anything? Like the first 3 steps you had to do.
Mhm.
And then that is to create a project for a lab. And then the next checklist is where we're going to follow you now to the next part is creating what you need once you're a lab to get into incubation. And we're hoping your project moves very quickly into incubation because, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, the more community support in putting stuff into your FAQ, the better it's going to work.
Okay, okay, perfect. Yes, I agree. I agree, and I think, in my opinion, if the software, the tool, is a bit a running tool. I mean, it's running in in a cloud, and as a good architecture, and also a good interface. It could be in incubation. This is my opinion,
Yes.
but uh, as you suggest me, so I can start with a checklist, and I will share you and to Arunima as well with about the checklist. But what about to share this information on the community? Could be
Exactly.
an
So
I'm
your
just,
present. Oh, go ahead, Arunima.
yeah, so I'm just doing one thing. I'm just updating the documentation task force page and adding there that, maintenance checklist. And maybe Gianluca, you can just keep on adding whatever comes in your mind in the documentation task force wiki page.
That's great. And
okay.
if we can, if he just tells us and we knock it down on there, that's great. Just so that we have something so that by the end of the year, I can give them, here's our, here's what you want to give a maintainer when they're starting a project, and it'll walk them through the checklist. So now the next part of the checklist. So this is exactly right. So you have all the first part of creating a project to get into lab. So now you're a lab. As far as everyone in the community is concerned, you're a lab. So you're right. You need to now get the community aware of your lab. That's something definitely should be on the next checklist of, lab to incubation. And the best way to do that is, again, reach out to David and get a networked presentation. I wouldn't do that just yet. I would wait to the 8th. I would do everything for that networked presentation and get it all ready and do it for us internally on the 8th. And then when we say, this is exactly what we want the community, here's our call for action at the end of it. Here's what we want the community to do. I would even go back to the people who signed up and ask them if they want to be part of the presentation, part of the, management of this, get them involved in the call on the 8th. But the next step is to get community involvement. But more than that, Gianluca, we can support you with all right, we can network this event. We can, prepare a presentation around where we introduce you and then you do your demo and you do your ask. But you have to clearly have at the end of that what you want from the community. So for instance, do you want the community to give you somebody from each project so that you can input their GitHub repository? Or do you just want volunteers to do that? Is that a simple thing to put information into your FAQ? Do you need people to test it? Do you need, what is your ask of the community on January 8th? Any ideas?
Yeah, now it's clear. Other people who will join, which kind of activity they will do. This is the okay, the idea. Okay. I think it's pretty clear because could be nice to have, for example, one front end developer and
And that's what you
one.
have to ask in the presentation. You're like, at the end of the presentation,
Okay.
say, this is where we're going. We need a UX designer. We need someone to just put data in, which is I volunteered to do. I'm dying to see how you get data in and get the questions out. I'm like ready for
Okay.
that job.
I can help you with the front end part. I have done a lot of front end projects. I can help you with that part.
This is
Okay.
great, and then you get the community
Yeah.
involved in this. And so that would be on the 8th. And Arunima, all we really need to do is just in the back of our heads, keep putting the bullet points for the checklists as we're walking through this with Gianluca on that page, if that's okay. And then when it's done, I'll put it in the metaverse.
Yeah, I'm also like updating the wiki page and adding the things there so that we can look into it later, just like a record.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So one idea could be um, to update the presentation and also the wiki pages, and I will share you if you want to if you have time to check and give me a feedback about that, and also suggestion if you want, and later I will meet David and will update you about the meeting. I think he also can suggest me something about technical details, and after that I will work to prepare the presentation, and you will be up to date about that because I will share you the presentation, the other documents.
Yeah, and if you want to show us what you have now, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think you needed like regarding chat FAQ, do you need like a front end template or so? So I can prepare that. I have worked on a lot of front end projects, so I can help you with that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
One idea could be because talking with David by mail, we maintain the next meeting in 18 next Monday, um, and after that we will update the date. But during this time, I will continue to work to the presentation, and if you have time, you can check the documents and give me feedback.
Absolutely. Are you
Yeah,
good?
sure. Can you share the link?
Yeah, and just put I would suggest just putting it on that wiki page so that when we have time, if I go to the wiki page, I'll see what's needed to be the next task.
Yeah, you can just
Okay.
put that on the wiki page. I made a section regarding updates of today. You can just put everything there. We all can look. Okay, I'm adding it there. No problem.
Perfect. That works. Okay, so again, I'll just bring this up in the TOC meeting that we're working on the checklist for the maintainers, and that we're going to have a big network event for the FAQ at the beginning of the year. And do we meet next time? I think we have one more meeting before the end of the year, right?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you,
so we'll
Bobby.
meet next Monday and we'll see how, how your presentation's coming along, and Arunima and I will touch base next week on the checklist for the maintainers. Okay?
Sure,
Okay.
Bobby.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week, everybody.
You
Thanks,
too.
Bobby.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.